Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today, I'm going to be doing a review of the Gigabyte G34WQC. I'm going to go over the pros and the cons and my own real-life experience that I've had with this monitor. And if at any point during the video, if you want to check out this exact same gaming ultrawide, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. I do got you guys, but let's get into it. All right, jumping right into it, this is a 34-inch ultrawide with a resolution of 3440 by 1440p, so ultrawide 1440p. And this is curved with a 1500 R curve, which is very good at this screen size with being an ultra wide. Most ultra wides that are 34 inches and curved do have a 1500 R curve. Now, this is a really good size and resolution taking into account price, usability, gaming immersion, and performance. This hits 144 Hertz, and this is a VA panel, so it will be quite a bit less expensive than an IPS monitor would be. So a VA panel has a lot of pros over an IPS, and really big one is price. So something like the LG 34GP83AB, that one is $800, same size, same curve, same resolution, but it's an IPS. Now, viewing angles on a VA panel are not as good as an IPS, but it's way better than a TN panel. So instead of there being a lot of color shift, it's just gonna be washed out. So if you go too far to the right or to the left, it's just gonna get washed out. However, for gaming, in my personal experience with a ton of VA panels, that's not really that big of an issue, especially since it's curved and the best place to sit anyway is right in the middle. However, VA panels are far better than IPS panels in contrast ratio. So the contrast ratio for a normal IPS panel is usually about 1,000 to 1. So that's basically how black, how deep your blacks are gonna be. And the VA panel, this one, the Gigabyte, is 3,000 to 1. And some people have run tests and it's even higher than 3,000 to 1, which is really good. Meaning that if you're in a dark room and you're playing games, the black level is gonna be super, super deep. This is another reason that a lot of really nice TVs actually use a modified VA panel, because you can get those blacks almost as deep as something like an OLED. All right, now let's talk colors. This actually does really, really well here. It hits 90% of the DCI P3 color gamut, which is about 120% of the sRGB color gamut. Now, this is really good, especially if you want to do something like video or photo editing. With these colors, you'd be able to switch from gaming and go straight into video editing and photo editing. And at this price point, that's really good. Now, many LG monitors come pre-calibrated from the factory. However, Gigabytes, you're going to want to calibrate it yourself if you're going to do photo and video editing. If not, it probably won't make that big of a difference to you. However, after calibration, this thing is really, really solid. So you would definitely be able to do something like video editing, switch right into gaming. And for me, that's a really massive pro, because every monitor that I review, I also edit the video. So this video on this monitor. All right, now continuing on with colors, this is an 8-bit native panel. However, I was able to outbit 10 bits of color through the NVIDIA control panel. I'm not sure if this is an 8-bit plus frame rate control to output that 1.07 billion colors. However, NVIDIA is letting me output 10 bits of color, so that's kind of unconfirmed. There's really not much data on this. However, you will be able to output 10 bits of color, and we don't really see that much banding, which is really awesome. So the colors on this thing are actually really good. All right, let's talk brightness. This is also another thing that this thing does well. This gets 350 nits, which is very respectable. Paired with that matte display, you're not gonna see very many reflections, and overall, it's right at that level where you start getting more than that, and it definitely makes a difference, but it's not as big of a difference from like 250 to 300 and 300 to 350. Those are massive jumps. When you start going from 350 to 400, smaller jumps. You don't see it as much, but 350 nits is very respectable. This does get up to a peak brightness of just shy of 500 nits, but this brightness is great because colors are gonna look vibrant, games are gonna look really vibrant and really nice. So 350 nits is basically like good, especially at this price point. 300 nits would be like kind of what I would expect, but 350 nits for an ultra wide, we'll go over the price in a bit. It's really good. All right, now for variable refresh rate, this obviously has FreeSync Premium. We're not gonna see G-Sync at this price point, but let's move on to ghosting, because ghosting in VA panels is one of their biggest issues. However, it differs greatly from panel to panel, and they each have their own issues with ghosting or not issues with ghosting. So the ghosting on this panel is noticeable, just like it is with every VA panel, but it's actually really, really good. So there's 3 different overdrive settings or response time settings in the menu. There is picture quality, there is balanced, and then there is speed. And you go up from those and that will decrease the ghosting. Now, usually the fastest setting will cause pixel overshooting or inverse ghosting. However, I tried all of them extensively many times over, And one, there's a massive difference between balance and speed. So speed does not cause pixel overshooting, which is really awesome to see. So the best setting for this, for the overdrive setting, as soon as you guys get this, automatically just go to your overdrive and set it to fast. Or they don't call it fast, they call it speed. So yeah, set it to speed. That's absolutely the best one, and it decreases the ghosting by quite a lot. So honestly, for how much this thing costs, the ghosting is quite good on a VA panel. Now the response time is 1 millisecond MPRT. Don't get this confused with G to G or gray to gray. Gray to gray response time is always going to be harder to achieve a smaller number. So this definitely is not 1 millisecond gray to gray. I would probably say, without really knowing, because there is no data on that, probably be around 4 or 5 milliseconds. All right, let's talk stand and build quality. The build quality of the stand is actually really good. I like the design. It looks really clean. It looks really nice. It also increases your usable desk space. So it's like a flat stand. It's not quite flat, but it's probably only like half an inch. And you can set your phone on there, other stuff. There's plastic on top of it, and then it's metal on the base, so it is fairly heavy. You do have height adjustability and tilt. However, you do not have swivel and you do not have rotation. However, for me, especially with an ultrawide, I prefer to not have rotation and swivel. Now, some people might be like, this is a con, and if it is for you, then it is for you. However, for me, I typically would never deal with something like rotation on an ultrawide and swiveling. I never use that. I'm very OCD with like symmetry. So for me, I like it better this way. However, for you, if that's a deal breaker, that might be a deal breaker. All the materials are pretty good and the operations feel good, but not as good as something like an LG. Those gas springs are really, really good. They go up and down very smoothly. This is smooth, but not quite as refined as LG. However, it's not really a deal breaker at all. All right, now ports include 2 HDMI 2.0s and 2 DisplayPort 1.4s, no USBs, but you do get a 3.5 millimeter audio out. Okay, now this does have built-in speakers. They are dual 2-watt built-in speakers. They should absolutely never be used if you enjoy listening to anything that has or emits sound. They are very, very like soft speakers. They don't get very loud. However, in this price point and compared to all the other competitors, even more expensive ones, many of them don't have speakers. So I guess this is a pro, because if you need to use them in a pinch, you can. Like if you need to listen to like a tutorial or something, these will work for that. However, don't rely on them. All right, now this is Vesa mountable with 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter Vesa mount. And I will say that you do have to take off the stand with 4 screws, which is kind of a pro because some monitors don't include the screws to Vesa mount them to a Vesa mount. But since the stand is screwed on, you already have those screws. And just a side note, if you watched the unboxing, which is on my channel, go subscribe below, you will have seen that this thing comes pre-installed with the actual stand on it, not the base of the stand, but that stand part. It's pre-installed in the packaging, which is really cool. All right, now let's talk the biggest pro of all, which is the price of this thing. And typically I don't go over the price unless it's a really big factor. And if you're gonna buy this thing, when I bought it was $420. It's on sale for $30 and it's normally $450, which is incredible. This is competing with the Asus TUF 34-inch ultrawide, which was really good, but this thing directly competes with that and something like the LG 34GP83AB, which is $800, almost double what this thing costs. Yes, it's an IPS. Yes, it has faster response time. Yes, it has less ghosting, but that LG monitor is my main monitor, the one that I'll come back to every other review. And honestly, switching between the two, there's definitely differences, but the overall gaming experience isn't really that different. And yes, obviously the LG is better. However, this is still the same size. It still has very similar brightness. It's got good colors. For the price of it, it's ridiculously inexpensive. Again, guys, if you do want to go check out this monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. But this is probably going to be in a video where I talk about the best budget ultrawide. I've been putting together a list of all the ultrawides and kind of ranking them myself. And I think this one is gonna win it right now. Holy crap, for $420, especially right now when it's on sale, go check if it's on sale still. But for $420, $450, this thing is like blowing the Asus out of the water. Also, you can get it because it's in stock a lot, whereas like the Asus isn't. The LG goes out of stock quite a bit and it's double the price. So yeah, this is a pretty freaking amazing monitor. It kind of flew under my radar and then I saw it. I looked up the stats, I looked up the specs, and I was like, hey, if this thing doesn't have any issues that are big, this could be a really awesome monitor. So yeah, definitely go check if it's on sale. But this was Type-C Tech Reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out. If it did, go hit that subscribe and like button. I didn't know which one I was gonna say, but do both of them because I need the subs, I need the likes. This was Type-C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.